Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Erica Isomura, and I'm here today to speak in opposition to the rezoning application at 105 Keefer Street. I feel really lucky to live on these beautiful and ceded Coast Salish territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam people. I am 25 years old, and I am both Chinese Canadian and Japanese Canadian. My family members and community have worked incredibly hard and overcome immense obstacles in order for me to stand here before you today, as many folks have spoken to throughout the past 4 days. I'm a member of the Louis clan, and in the 1940s, our family started businesses on Pender Street, the Lake Hugh grocery store, which is now the Meiwa Hotel, an SRO that many low-income Chinese seniors call home. We also ran the Marco Polo restaurant at Pender and Columbia, which is a block away from the development site that we are talking about today. So amidst exclusion, historically, from the rest of Vancouver, Chinatown is the community where my family got our start, where our extended family worked together to survive and care for one another, and where my elders, including my bakgung, my great-uncle, and my gungung, my grandfather, enlisted in the army to fight for the franchise. They fought for the rights I have today that they didn't have when they were my age. Both of my grandfather and my great-uncle have passed on, but I think of them when I pass Keefer Memorial Plaza, when I pay my respects in Chinatown on Remembrance Day, and when I visit the placard with their names outside the Cultural Center. I consider this site to be very important to me and my family history, which is one reason I'm here today and why I worry about the impacts of this project. Throughout this hearing, I've been floored by people's bravery to stand up and speak against this proposal, especially by youth and elders. From day one, I was particularly moved by speaker and organizer King Mong Chan, not just because of his fuel and passion and seeing the work that he's done in Chinatown, but also his ability to distinctly express himself multilingually, which is something I am unable to do today. As a fourth-generation Canadian, my mother tongues got pulled from my mouth before I was even born. I regret to say that I cannot speak Cantonese or Japanese fluently, and neither can my sister or my parents. This is due to assimilation and racism, specifically against Chinese and Japanese Canadians, and something that's been so embedded into our history here for generations. But despite this language loss and other societal pressures to assimilate into Canada, I've been working really hard to try and not lose connection to the histories and communities where I come from. And I know I'm not alone in this process. There's been so many other young people in this room today expressing what it means for them to reconnect to a community like Chinatown, not just as a physical space to pass through, take pictures of, or go for expensive coffee or cocktails, but a place that's rich with culture, language, living history, and meaningful multi-generational relationships. This loss of connection that has become so common with people in my generation is further fueled by the ongoing economic displacement of vulnerable community members and culturally appropriate businesses. By cloaking gentrification with terms like revitalization, supporters of this project are erasing stories, voices, homes, and community. They are ignoring the needs of people whose home this is and has been for decades, since Chinatown came into existence. It breaks my heart to witness another community of mine being displaced before my own eyes. I speak up today despite feeling powerless to these changes taking place in the Chinatown community. In addition to 2017 being the 150th anniversary of Confederation, this year is also the 75th anniversary of the Japanese-Canadian internment. I can't help but reflect on the meaning of anniversaries and how we are collectively moving forward and learning from our past mistakes. Mr. Mayor, 4 years ago, in 2013, you apologized for the city's inaction and complicity in the forced removal of my community of Japanese Canadians from the coast during World War II. You apologized for failing to protect residents of Japanese descent, like my great-grandparents and grandparents, and you said you'd allow this to never happen again. While I recognize that this building and project, and the proposal is not directly forcing Chinese residents to leave the area, I know it will have incredibly similar impacts of displacement by introducing new, expensive, and unaffordable amenities and businesses to the area. And ultimately, it will force people to leave in order to meet their basic needs like affordable housing, culturally appropriate foods, and other accessible services. With our past mistakes in mind, I ask you to not allow the economic displacement of Chinese community members from this neighborhood. I ask you to protect our low-income Chinese elders, respect the community's wishes, and honor the significance of this culturally sensitive site within Chinatown. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for coming and speaking to Council.